was that Zed ban against Dade.
Right, and that says to me that CTU doesn't want to run that Nocturne Ari combo again, but we'll see. It is going to be open for the taking, should they choose.
Yeah. Well, Gragas, Kennen, and Thresh, the bans for MVP Ozone right now.
I mean, no surprise right there. I actually like the fact that, in spite of Mata's immense skill on Thresh, they've been the ones saying, nah, we don't want to deal with that. We're confident in the depth of Mata's champion pool, and don't let Wolf have it.
And again, maybe hiding more of that stuff that they really want to do later. Because, I mean, Mata really good on Thresh. If they don't use him for a while, then they get to a point where they don't have it banned against him.
Well, Vayne is up this time around.
Oh, you're right.
Lee Sin taken first by Dandy. Now, ball is in the court for CTU. And you'll notice the last ban of Rise. Now, the reason why they did that was that it puts MVP Ozone in an awkward position because Rise is great against Vayne in team fights because you can lock her down with Rune Prison.
Yeah, very true.
But they're not going to pick Vayne all the same. Instead, going for Zyra again, trying to deny Mata and force him into some champions that he hasn't played as much recently.
Zyra Shen. And there's a Jarvan pickup, possibly for Dandy. So we may see Lee Sin and Jarvan in the top or in the jungle. Don't quite know where they'll go yet if the Jarvan is locked in.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the actual picks there. That looks much more likely. And Zyra Shen, now that doesn't say much at all about the composition. It could be a pick comp. It could be a split push comp. It could be a with the split push with Shen, it's always a transitional 5v5 comp for the team fights as well with the Stand United. But
right.
There we go. Sona gets taken instead, and Zach. And again for MVP Ozone, that doesn't say anything else.
They're actually going to let Imp have Vayne. They're going to let Imp have Vayne.
If he wants it.
Well, of course, Imp is the best Vayne in the world, supposedly, and I haven't seen anything yet to tell me otherwise, so I think it'd be a good pickup. But obviously they have that Nocturne. They can dive in the back lines. I mean, Shen surfing in on Nocturne's ult, that is scary for even the best Vaynes.
That's right. That's what Frost used very recently to great effect.
Yeah. And
they're saving that mid lane pick again, so the Aria possibility.
The crowd really wants to see Vayne.
I think Caitlyn is a very safe pickup here.
Yeah.
If they're looking to play that mid lane Ezreal as well. So this is a much more comprehensive composition coming out of MVP Ozone. Going for that.
No. And he locks in Vayne. He goes for it. Imp, you know this guy's attitude. You know he is way too cocky to let this pass up. CTU threw down that gauntlet, and Imp dove to pick it up. He's like, yes, please.
And there's Lissandra for the hard engage.
And it looks like he's going to slam a HOT6 before the game, too, so he's going to be completely pumped up for all those tumbles. Yeah, Lissandra, very cool.
I really don't like MVP Ozone's composition again, and the reason why is most of the time when we see mid lane Ezreals, you have an early game AD like Caitlyn. You don't take a late game scaling AD like Vayne or Tristana, because especially when you pick it into Shen, by the time Vayne ramps up, Shen's going to have Sunfire, Randuin's, and maybe a Thornmail.
We've seen it time and time again.
Terrifying. So this is risky from MVP Ozone. Very, very risky.
Yeah, the engage for CTU is very strong too. I mean, Lissandra, Nocturne, Shen. They have a lot of ways to get in there and lock up Vayne.
Just lock up that back line, the Nocturne ultimate. I mean, MVP Ozone's a very strong team, and I think we saw them come out, and there we go, on play. No, they switched.
Yeah,
they switched, guys.
Yeah. All right, so don't worry about that. They're just giving our graphics people nightmares right now. They're like, oh, why? Make it 30 seconds next time. Well, you'll get to see the roster once we get in game, guys. It is going to be home on Zach and MVP. Dandy on Lee Sin. And there's home.
I'm very concerned about MVP Ozone this game. And again, I feel that they've entered this game with a weak composition. Now, they pulled it out last time due to just...
Perhaps intentionally.
Perhaps intentionally. That is another thing, absolutely, though, is that we don't know what their strategy is going into this playoffs. If they feel that they can cut corners here in the quarterfinal and still take the win.
CTU's like looking at them with their scouters and like what looks like their power level is manageable, but no, these guys are Super Saiyans. Don't want to mess with that. Well, here we go, guys. Game number 2, MVP Ozone versus CTU. Let's get in the game. I love how at the end we see Faker about to head off and face some Titans, apparently. MVP Ozone versus CTU, game number 2, and Imp may get a bit caught here. Oh, are they going to get him? Oh, no taunt. Oh, he misses the taunt. Oh, man, that could have been huge. They could have, at the very least, gotten a flash, but as it is.
Yeah, a little bit out of
Nothing.
range. No Name had an opportunity to flash as well with that taunt. Chose not to, though.
Yeah.
Wasn't entirely sold on getting that first blood, and
Yep.
it's fine. It's not actually that big of a deal.
Thanks, Monte Cristo hype executor.
Well, the reason why is, you know, with CTU having Nocturne again, you really need to get up to that level 6. And so if you trade flash for flash right there, it actually puts No Names in a very risky situation against Dandy's Lee Sin in the early game.
I can't take you seriously now. Zach is too distracting. It's the Zach distract. All right, well, we've got Korean Lissandra, guys, so that means the sound effects are going to be out of control.
Mima already eating a lot of damage.
Yeah, he is. Wow.
Getting zoned out by Dade. Interesting fact about Dade, we have seen a lot of mid-Ezreal so far this season, but Dade was kind of the original one back when he played AP Ezreal on the original CJ Entis team when he was on it with Insec and Muse and Space, and of course, the man in Infinite Agony, Long Panda.
Ah, yes, the poor Long Panda. He will be remembered always, and we may even see him again in Champions, who knows,
But basically, he was kind of the original mid lane Ezreal, and of course it was AP then AD now.
Yeah.
But this is a champion that he's always been very comfortable on.
Oh, nice denying of CS actually by CTU. Really good advance by Rearus and Wolf at just the right time to deny at least like 3 creeps from Vimp there.
And of course, Lissandra screaming in the mid lane. So, the composition from MVP Ozone, again, these double AD compositions, we've seen them fall because they do have a specific timing window. And they've always been particularly dangerous when picked into Shen. Because Shen gets, wow, nice by Dade with the steal right there. So, they've always been particularly dangerous when picked into Shen. And because he can just build those full armor items, and by, depending on how many objectives go down and how fed and farmed he gets, 25 to 30 minutes is usually when these double AD comps just die.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, most of the time with double ADs, you see Ezreal Caitlyn or something like that that can push towers very fast early and take advantage of that range and that siege potential. You don't see Ezreal Vayne, because Vayne takes a long time to reach that late game power spike, and by that time Shen is going to be tankier than all get out, and Raccoon may also have a Randuin's by that point, and Mimo will probably also have a Zhonya's. So this is, I'm concerned, Doa.
Well, it is a very valid cause for concern. I mean, MVP Ozone, they may be thinking of just trying to use some kind of mechanical advantages early on to get some kills. We'll see if they can. Imp going back, picking up that second Doran's in a couple pots. Single pot.
So CTU.
Oh, whoa, Mila needs to be careful here. There we go, it's a teleport, but oh man, just not quite enough.
Mima lived with under 10 HP right there.
Oh, Dade. Oh, meanwhile, Dandy finishes the job and gets that first blood. Lissandra is just an ice cube now.
Again, We see the same strategy from Dandy this game as a jungler that we saw last time. Pick up the buffs, get the wards, put them down, make sure you can pick up those kills. And Dandy, once again, in the right place at the right time. Look at this. Raccoon right up there as well, but Dandy, cute, popping in from the other side.
Oh, nice. Executed.
W
Finisher.
to the ward, E onto Lissandra after the flash.
That's how you do it. And so Mima gives up first blood, and again, you know, I mean, we talked about this before the games began. He is so nervous about these matches today. I've got one of my friends is a friend of Mima's, and all last night Mima kept messaging him saying, I don't know if I'm ready for the match, I don't feel confident, I can't sleep. So Mima coming into it with some nerves, but he played okay in game number 1, but not the best start for keeping a cool head in game number 2.
It's so hard for CTU, I feel, because if you think about each team's position by position, it just seems like MVP Ozone is stronger across the board. And
I would agree.
even with this up-and-coming AD carry and Rearus and Wolf's great season on support, you have to go up against Imp and Mana, and that is just brutal.
Exactly. It's like if you're the rookie of the year in basketball, but then you have to play 1v1 against like Michael Jordan or something, you know?
Exactly.
Or like, I don't know, Kobe, LeBron, like King LeBron or whatever the kids are calling him these days. Back in my day, it was Shack Attack.
All right, well, Nocturne coming in from behind right
Oh,
here.
nice snare on the Dade with the W. Oh, but Mima taking a lot of damage. Can Dade escape? The fear says no. Raccoon should get this kill. Ignite ends, but there it is. Raccoon with the finishing blow. So they do trade 1 for 1, but that's the second death now for Mima.
Interestingly, Dade opting not to use his barrier right there. I guess he figured he was dead to rights anyway, and that it wouldn't actually be that helpful, so.
I mean, you're probably right. It didn't look very likely that he was going to be able to escape there.
So too long of a cooldown on his E. He calculated it out, says, I'm not going to use my summoner here. I'll just take the death. It doesn't really matter if Raccoon picks it up because I'm dominating my lane so hard right now. I'm hugely in terms of CS, and amusing himself in the bushes.
He's having a great time, you know. The attitudes on this team, from where we saw them at the beginning of Champions Spring, man, these guys have turned from like timid, oh, I hope we can win, to like, we are golden gods descended upon the battlefield.
The trash talking just getting so good in Korea too.
All over, yeah.
You guys have
really
to
upped their
tune
game.
in at the beginning of the broadcast because we have these trash talk segments now that are exquisite.
Oh, yeah. Exquisite is exactly the word I would use to describe them. I'm right with you there, Monte Cristo.
And look at this again, Dandy just about the wards and the boots of ability. He's trying to be everywhere on this map and get his team that vision advantage. Truly going pretty support heavy as a jungler, even more support heavy than we usually see junglers go here in Korea.
Well, Lee Sin is one of those champions that does do a significant amount of damage early on anyway, so you can get away with it a little bit more on this champion than you could on some other ones. But yeah, it is a little bit more than we see, but Dandy's certainly been making it worth it. He's got a kill already, and he's actually got more farm than Raccoon too, by a tiny little bit.
Look at that, Mima trying to be cute, but Dade just goes to farm the race, but scares him off anyway.
There's really nothing cute about Lissandra. She is not exactly what I would describe as cute.
You don't think she's adorable?
She's, you know, sometimes people call like a woman handsome. I feel like Lissandra could fit that bill. You know, maybe slightly terrifying as well. That's also an adjective I would use to describe Lissandra. She needs like a throat lozenge though, I think, in the Korean client.
Okay, Raccoon sitting up here in the brush right there. No vision. Imp. Dandy's there, though.
Dandy trying to come up. Imp gets locked out. He does manage to get away, though. Nice condemn, forcing Raccoon back a bit. Crescendo used defensively. There's Paranoia to deny some vision, but Raccoon not. Oh, they get the stand united. No, they don't. No Name gets knocked out of it by the Let's Bounce from home.
That was pretty sloppy by CTU.
It was. It was.
Interesting that they chose to use the Paranoia that late, and I really think we're seeing some nerves here from CTU tonight. They can't. Yeah. When we saw them play Blaze, their combos were very precise, very technical, and it looked like the play calling was really coming through. Here,
Yeah.
it's just a bit disjointed. We've seen several missed paranoias from Raccoon right now. Now, a really late Stand United and paranoia from both Raccoon and No Names. They don't look in the right state of mind in order to take games tonight, I feel.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think I'd have to agree with you there. And I mean, you can't blame these guys for coming into the position that they were in to do as well as they did in the season. Even if they do get knocked out today, I think getting to the quarterfinals is a result you can be pretty happy with as an organization in your very first time out.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when both Sword and Blaze were in your group, and guess who didn't get to the playoffs? It was Notch and Black Sword.
Exactly. And, oh, two-shot barrage checks Dragon, but it's going to be a Dragon for CTU. And they are going to stay neck and neck with that gold. Now, will they give up this top turret for it?
Well, Imp and Mata going to press it pretty hard, but already No Name starting to stack up that armor here at 11 minutes.
It's getting a little bit scary already, yeah. They don't get the turret. Turret's very low. They might still be able to take it down.
But
I would imagine they will.
if CTU can't fix their coordination problems, even if they do have a very, very tanky, armor-heavy team, if they can't get the proper engage onto the AD carries, the AD carries will be eventually able to whittle them down.
Yeah, that really is it, isn't it?
If they can steady their nerves, if they can get good engages later on in this game, once they farm up enough, they should be in a very good position to win. If they can't, and if we continue to see this disjointed, sloppy play, then we are going to see quite a few problems, and maybe MVP Ozone able to grind this out. Because MVP Ozone isn't taking turrets very quickly. First turret, and remember this is patch 3.9, so we don't have that armor increase, is at 12 minutes. That is not optimal for a double AD composition.
Well, sometimes optimal and successful don't exactly go hand in hand, and so far MVP Ozone has been able to prove that. We'll see if they can keep it up. A little bit of damage onto Mima as he puts down that ward. Meanwhile, Home jumps up into the top lane. Trying to just keep that lane really pushed, man. Home is way far forward, but look at the wards. He can be. The vision for MVP Ozone right now is insanely good.
Well, that's what you have to do with the double AD composition, is you have to keep the pressure on early, because if you don't get a significant lead, again, that tankiness coming in late is going to absolutely shatter you. There is a time window on this composition.
Yeah.
So they have been pushing very aggressively as a result, and part of that aggressive pushing is doing it safely against the Nocturnal wards.
Oh, Mima coming in, doing a lot of damage to Dade. Not bad. There's the ultimate. Mima may be able to just go on. No, here comes Dandy from behind. Stand United onto Mima will save him. Dade has to get out of there.
Dandy with a nice kick, though, to prevent the Shen engage.
Yeah.
Using that ultimate, but now they have a chance to push back into the lane. Dade very low. They may be able to take the mid turret as a result of this.
We'll see. Mima's mana a little bit low. Lysandra, though, does get those free spells every once in a while, so not a huge concern, but without a minion wave, they can't really push it any farther. I think Dragon will be back fairly soon here, within a minute or two, but it looks like for now everybody's just going to go back.
Yeah, and unfortunately a lot of ultimates used right there. You see Mima coming in, trying to get that all in, and Dandy, as usual, in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
Arcane shifting over to him.
Nice kick right there. See Stand United. Goodbye to Mima. There comes Shen in, but not able to actually pick up any kills or any objectives. So a lot of ults used by both players, but that's Stand United, a big one.
And now that's the first two Stand Uniteds that No Name has tried to use that have either been canceled or rendered relatively useless.
Indeed. And picking up the first Sunfire of the game as well, though No Name should have pretty large bank at this point. He hasn't been back in a little bit.
Right. Overall, a very low death kill. That may change though. Riris cleanses, gets away, was condemned against that turret for a moment, and Imp nearly picked up his first kill of the game. that was close, and that's actually going to allow them to maybe just take this turret here.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see.
Raccoon is coming down to defend right there.
Yep.
And this is another problem. If you want a fast push, not only is Vayne's scaling an issue, but Vayne's range is an issue. You're simply not going to be able to get as many solid auto attacks on that turret for free.
It's very true. They're waiting now. Dandy lurking in the jungle, maybe in position to come down and help with this, but we'll see.
Well, CTU knows they just have to hold on here, and they're doing a good job. They still are only at a 1 turret deficit, only at a 2K gold deficit here at 15 minutes, and you can expect to be down early against a double AD composition. It's just a matter of keeping those towers up and then just running it into the late game where you have that decisive advantage.
Yeah, and CTU does have a very strong late game. I mean, the burst from Lysandra, from the Twitch ult, the CC that they get from everything, that is a terrifying late game that Ozone has to face if they let it get that long.
And I do feel it's kind of an unfair burden onto Imp as well, because his positioning is going to have to be perfect in order to win late game team fights, because he's just not going to have that much help in terms of CC or peel.
Yeah. Well, we saw him make a couple little positioning mistakes last game, but overall he's been pretty good.
And you know, we heard Faker say, interestingly, that who knows how much of this is just trash talk, but Faker said recently that he thought MVP Ozone had de-evolved into a solo queue mentality.
Well, man, this comp and the comp in game #1 sure looks like that, doesn't it?
I have to agree.
Yeah. They're like, well, we're just all individually so skilled. We're just gonna kind of forget about the team cohesion and just kind of do whatever we do. Yeah, that is a solo queue mentality, and that's not usually the best thing for pro play.
Oh, I'm taking the damage right there. CTU trying to set up a bit of a pick, but far too tanky for them to deal with, and they wanted to do that just so they could safely secure the dragon, but they're not going to have the luxury of an early kill.
Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. All right, well, they're going to jump. They get the flash from Wolf. Are they going to follow up on this? There's a Zyra ultimate. Paranoia blocks the vision. Rear's in a good position early on. They take down Dandy. Dade locked up in the back with the Lysandra ultimate. Ima does go down. Raccoon forcing Dade out of the fight, but now Imp going crazy in the back lines. Rear's goes down as well. They do take out Imp, but not before he helps out Home get a double kill. And No Name, the last person to go down, 2 for 5. MVP Ozone. You can't argue with good mechanics, I guess.
No, you can't. And Imp there, too, had great positioning, as he usually does on Vayne, popping over the wall in order to win that duel against Rear, as he did ultimately go down, but he drew a lot of players back at the same time, forcing the flash out early from Zyra as well. And again, the double AD composition does have an earlier power spike, and I have to say I'm a bit surprised CTU wanted to have that dragon fight so early. MVP Ozone also did a great job of breaking apart to eliminate a lot of the threat from the CC of both Lysandra, Shen, and Zyra.
Yeah.
Staying really far spread out.
I mean, if you're going to play with this, we're calling it solo queue mentality, you have to be ready to skirmish, and yeah, you have to know how to pull the team fight apart. That's exactly what they did. And I mean, CTU, their positioning wasn't terrible in that fight. I mean, I think we'll see that if we get to see that replay. Rearus got to take out Dandy very quickly. He was looking okay until Imp came over the wall. Mina did lock up Dade in the back for a while as well, in kind of an awkward spot, but yeah, Ozone just looks too strong, and it's got to be disheartening too for CTU to know they have this team that can be good in the late game, but they just can't get the early and mid game to go their way.
I mean, if they can buy themselves 10 minutes, they'll be okay. And they are down only about 4K gold right now, and they haven't lost very many towers, so their map control is still strong, or at least pretty even. It just all comes down to them not making any more foolish decisions.
Dade doing his best to take that blue buff, but didn't quite get there in time.
And also, they haven't done a good job controlling his pushing up in that top lane.
Yeah.
Raccoon has kind of been running damage control to prevent turrets from falling. And so he hasn't been able to put that pressure. Wow. Dade's mechanics.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, this is one of the dangers of playing Nocturne as well, too, is that it's easy to get poked down when you're trying to defend a turret and things like that as well. You don't really have any response. I mean, Duskbringer, yeah, it's a ranged attack, but generally doesn't do a ton of damage. Mima in big trouble here, actually. He's going to go ahead and put the ultimate down onto Dade. True shot barrage. Oh, it gets flashed, and Mima barely escapes. Close call, but Mima had to use his flash, and Dade didn't. Yeah, I mean,
he is absolutely everywhere, moving around this lane. Such great positioning on Ezreal.
It's like he doesn't realize he's playing blue Ezreal. Here we go. They're going to actually take down Imp right away. Reris has the Shen ult coming down on him. No Name coming in. The taunt gets flashed away from Mana, dodges the roots. Looks like he'll get away.
But this will cause that mid lane turret to go down. Here we go.
Yeah, there it goes.
They need to trade for it at the very least. They can't keep falling behind in global gold if they want to have a shot here.
Wanting to come in here onto Mima. It looks like he does. Lots of damage being put on to the Ice Queen there. And Mima very low. The Let's Bounce has to use the Zonias. Paranoia coming in. Raccoon! Oh, man. Barely can't keep Mima alive, but they will be able to finish off. So they will trade 1-1 there at least.
But the damage continues to come in onto the turrets. This is exactly what MVP Ozone wants. They'll have these skirmishes all day as long as they can continue winning an objective battle.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Well, looks like we've stabilized at least for the moment. But the wards, again, absolutely superb for MVP Ozone.
Yeah, and that's good wording. When you see it be such a team effort as it is on MVP Ozone, it's not just a support player running all over the map and dropping wards wherever they can. Everybody buys wards on a pro team.
Yep. And look at that too. You can see he knows that right now No Name is focused on armor. So what does he do? He gets that Haunting Guise as his next item. And he may choose to get those Sork shoes as well, just to get that extra bit of magic penetration so he can make sure that he can out-split push Shen.
Yeah. Looked like there might have been a bit of a plan for an ambush gank on Dandy in the mid lane, but didn't end up working out. Dade back to the mid lane now. And MVP Ozone looking to put some more pressure on. They have everything pushed up except for that bot lane. They've got all the other tier 1 turrets. Imp trying to finish off that one. Barely doesn't quite get it. The minions. Okay, there we go. Imp does manage to take it. Oh, Dandy coming in as well. Reris has to flash. Imp flashing in return. Are they going to pick up this kill? Looks like they're going to get it. No problem. Meanwhile, Dade coming up here, trying to catch someone else, get another opportunity. Getting that kill on Reris in the bot lane is plenty good enough. Reris has had a pretty good game, though. 160 CS, 3-2-0 after that death. Not bad at all.
What's amazing about what MVP Ozone is doing, though, is that the globals are on CTU's side, but somehow they keep getting caught out by MVP Ozone. Dandy, with that vision control, is absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, and Raccoon used his E. He used that fear tether, so they were able to push him back. Raccoon not able to do anything at all about that.
And look, this is almost punishing the split pushing of Shen right now. He's gotten that advantage. And therefore, by building that magic penetration, he's able to make sure that he can constantly shove No Name back.
Yeah. Oh, Mima, Shen ultimate coming in. Oh, a crescendo completely nullifies it. Oh, man. No Name's ultimates, the Stand United's coming out of Shen, have just not worked out this game at all. Not a single successful one yet.
CTU just really sloppy. Raccoon didn't have Paranoia up, but it was up in just a few seconds. If they had just waited.
Yeah. Oh, Dandy gets locked up in the ultimate from Mima. They will get a pick on him.
But guess what? Is wailing on that turret up in top lane.
That's going to go down.
They'll trade kills for turrets all day with this composition.
There it goes. Pokes Dragon, looks like they will decide to go for that. Mata and Imp going full bot lane bloodthirsty. Maybe is Imp crazy enough to try to 2v4? I don't think it's worth it. Nope, they're going to let him have that Dragon. That's fine.
No Name just really had a lot of problems here.
Yeah, he has.
He just can't stop Zach. And it's not going to get any better. There are the Sork shoes for him as well.
Yep.
And Reris not pushing that out. He has no vision right now. Playing it as safely as possible, nearly ambushed by Imp and Mata.
Yep. when the ambusher becomes the ambushed.
Indeed. It's tough being a Twitch who gets picked.
Well, you know, it's tough being Twitch in general because he's the only one of his kind.
Is that true?
It's actually, yeah, he's a result of a bunch of like pollution and stuff in the sewers of Swan, right? Or Jean, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Sorry, guys. But, yeah, he's the only one.
I always rely on you for my League of Legends lore, Doa.
It's true. Well, he's like Tigger, you know, the wonderful thing about Tigger is that he's the only one. The wonderful thing about Twitch is that he's the only one. Only he's evil. So maybe that's not so good after all. Oh, well.
Well, CTU, they're still just trying to grind this one out. But with how much No Name has been delayed, and the fact that he absolutely can't stop Zach's split push right now due to the extra kills, assists, and just frankly global gold on it's going to be a while, though. He's getting closer to his Randuins now.
Oh, he really likes stealing those raids, doesn't he?
Dade.
Dade is like having the series of his life tonight. He is playing so well. Home deciding to just fight it out with Shen. Dandy is there. Actually, a lot of members. Dade gets caught. Dade gets caught a little bit. Dandy comes in with the safeguard. Tries to keep him alive. It doesn't end up working. Zonius from Mima keeps him alive. And Dandy is poisoned. Not going to work out. Riris gets that kill.
Him still charging up, though. He wants this turret.
Yeah.
And look at that. I'm just distracting them right there because they know that turret's low and they can continue to push forward on these objectives. But CTU,
yep.
I think, intelligently going for a Baron.
I think that is a good idea. I mean, there's not a whole lot right now that Ozone can really do about it. Imp scrambling his way back up to the Baron pit. Baron only at about half health right now. Can they do anything about this? 12 seconds till Dade comes back, and that means probably no true shot barrage. Home comes in. Baron still has a lot of health. There's a crescendo over the top. Really doing a lot of damage to Raccoon. They're forcing the stand united. Zyra ultimate doesn't hit anybody. Imp chasing down Riros wants to get that carry. Mima taking a lot of damage as well. Imp goes down. A double kill though for Home. And everybody is back. A triple kill for Home. CTU just can't get anything done in game number 2.
An absolutely perfect call there from him.
Oh, goodbye, Riris. Unofficial quadra kill. We'll give it to him.
This is Zach in the current state. Probably needs a few nerfs. And there we go. Finds Shen for the ace.
That's what I like.
Right there, Imp made the perfect call, even though he died. Because Lissandra wasn't there at the start of the fight, there was no more damage. So by zoning out Twitch, as the rest of the team was locked up by they were able, frankly, Baron was not going to die because there wasn't sufficient DPS from the rest of the team. So even though Imp sacrificed his life, Baron helped a lot in killing CTU.
Yeah.
On top of the magic damage that we saw do right there, and now coming back with a Thorn Mail to boot.
You know what we mentioned, that's actually hilarious, but we mentioned how on MVP Ozone they can play the same champions in very different ways, and we're seeing a great example of it from Imp. He's not like full-on crazy, I want the pentakills Imp. He's like utility Imp. He's getting in, getting the damage done on the people he needs to damage, and sacrificing himself for the good of the team fight. This is kind of a different look for him on Vayne.
He's also been split pushing on Vayne, which is one of those things that you can do with Vayne and Blade of the Ruin King.
Right.
I still think they could have gotten faster towers with Caitlyn, but it is working in this situation. And again, I feel like this is MVP Ozone playing a suboptimal strategy and brute forcing it simply because they are more talented and more skillful than CTU.
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, and I mean, this is so great for MVP Ozone going into the semifinals if presumably they do win this match, because they will have revealed really nothing of what they may be planning for these later matches.
I mean, I actually am concerned, but here we go.
Oh, in the middle of everything, there's the paranoia locked down. They're going to get that fear into Home. Dandy just fighting Wraiths for now, I guess. Home is so unkillable at this point. Yeah, he's like, all right, go ahead, try it.
I think the biggest problem in this game is how fed got, because as soon as Shen can't split push against Zac anymore, you lose so much map pressure.
Yeah, I mean,
and when you lose that map pressure in that one lane, then the double ADs are going to create insane pressure on the other lanes as
Oh,
well.
crescendo on Mima. A good choice. He's Zonia's, but they're going to be able to get him, no problem. And there's the ultimate. Mima finally going down there. Really made him work for it. Allowed his team to get to safety, I suppose. I don't think there's anywhere that's going to be safe soon, though, from MVP Ozone.
That's the other thing, too, is that the double AD composition, you have to get enough by that 30-minute mark, and by keeping No Name down, he still doesn't have that randomness. He's just not tanky, and they're just diving on the
turret. Middle of
turret.
everybody. The Zyra ultimate does hit 2 people. Imp and Dandy getting hit there, but they get the turret. They get the kill onto No Name. Mod on the outside, trying to keep everybody alive. Look at Dade just steamrolling through the enemy team, unafraid of everybody. He grabs that double kill. They're going to grab the inhibitor. This is surrender material right here. I mean, Ozone, I feel like, or CTU rather, they need to stay in and keep trying, but it is just looking unwinnable from this point for CTU.
Yes, and again, that's what's great about double ADs. If you can get the turrets, if you can get enough of a lead by that 30-minute mark, that's when you can actually close the game out. And that's what they've done. And they've really focused on No Name. We see a large CS deficit. Almost just gotten so many kills.
8-1 and 6.
And just constantly kept Shen on his back foot. They've ganked No Name. They've canceled his ult. They've completely neutralized the Shen threat in this game. And that's what they had to do in order to win, because the Shen getting tanky, that's what's important. And it hasn't happened to the degree it needed to.
It's actually incredible that Home is having such a good game that it overshadows the game that Dade's had up to this point.
Yeah, I think Home is really... It's been the strategy and the play calling mostly, but and the warding too. Dandy helping out so much, because part of what allowed Om to do this, to push so heavily and extend so far into that top lane constantly, was Dandy's beautiful warding of the upper jungle.
There were always like 3 wards in the jungle at all times, the enemy jungle that is, at all times, to let Home do basically whatever he wanted without any fear of being ganked.
And it's even more impressive because there's a Nocturne on the enemy team.
Yeah. Well, guys, here's a Baron for MVP Ozone. Looks like they should be able to get it, no problem. Completely unopposed. And that is the death cries of the Baron, is the death knell for CTU. Already an inhibitor down. And just really not anything they can do yet to stop this unstoppable force.
I want to go back to what Faker said again about them playing a solo queue style, because yes, they're very talented, but will this work against some of the really top teams in this tournament?
Well, Imp getting totally caught here. Whoops, has to cleanse. Will he get out? Nice Lysandra. Oh, good crescendo in response over the top. Allows Home to get in with a fantastic slingshot. Fantastic, let's bout. Somehow they turn it around. Pure mechanics. Double kill for Home. Dandy helping them pick up that ace. Perfect ace. Imp lives.
And they're going to heal up too.
Unbelievable.
So
yeah,
that's going to be the end
buff
of this game. The flash has come out. The surrender is here.
Yeah, there it is. GG. And MVP Ozone takes game 2.